Oh boy. Okay.
You're live, bro.
Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear. We have JR Hildebrand with us doing Facebook Live. So, JR, got a chance to meet a lot of the kids from Detroit Central High School today. Talk to them a little bit about technology and racing. What do you think the kids got out of what you were talking about today? And you saw a lot of kids kind of riveted to what you were speaking about in your experience in the sport.
Yeah, it was cool. It's always fun to interact with students that are focused on something in particular. I had some kids with the robotics program. You definitely know when you get in there and you're seeing all the stuff that they're doing that they're hip to what a lot of these concepts are, which is a fun starting point. But always just cool to be able to. I think it was powerful for me when I was a kid, just to see that. Look, this stuff that I'm studying in school is actually going on somewhere. Like, this is really relevant and applicable to something that's interesting that's going on out in real life. So whether that's racing or it's, going to the moon or going to Mars or, whatever, there's all kinds of stuff that has to do with and sort of builds from the math and science that you study in middle school and high school. And it's just cool to be able to give a little bit of that insight, and then see some of the light switches, popping on here and there. So had some great questions, and I've always enjoyed it.
So these kids are going to get a chance to experience the Grand Prix here in Detroit on June 2nd, Comerica Bank Free Pre-Day. What advice you guys give to these students when they get a chance to come out to the track? What should they keep their eye on?
I mean, I think it's just come and try to take it all in, There's so much stuff going on. It can be a little overwhelming even at times, but go see all of the different cars. I mean, that for me is the biggest thing. Out at the Detroit Grand Prix, we've got obviously the IndyCar Series, but Trans Am's there, and the Stadium Super Trucks are there, and the WeatherTech Series is there. So there's all kinds of different stuff to check out, and they're all super different, So there's kind of where you see the technology fitting in is in a lot of the same places, but how it ends up kind of manifesting itself, an Indy car and a Stadium Super Truck couldn't be more different in a lot of those ways. So I think it's just making sure you run around, making sure you check it all out, find all the little corners of the paddock to make sure you didn't miss anything, and make sure to, they'll be swinging by our tent, and we'll be able to show them a little bit of the inside scoop on what goes on for us.
Can you think about what it would have been like if you were in high school and you got this opportunity to come to a Grand? I mean, would that have changed things for you? Do you think you would have gone in a different direction, or you obviously found your way to the path you're supposed to be on? Yeah,
I mean, I think for me, I was, taking off days to go drive race cars when I was in high school. So, a little bit of a different thing, but I look at even, for me now, the experience that I get to, spend a day at NASA JPL down in Pasadena or something, and just think about, they're very similar to hanging out at the racetrack in terms of just why it's interesting. You get to see all this stuff that you kind of only used to seeing online or on TV or whatever, and to really see it in the flesh, particularly out at the racetrack with the sights and the sounds and the smell and all of that kind of stuff. It just brings it to life, which is such a cool piece of Comerica, being able to bring the students out, and hopefully we can have a good time with them.
So you sent out a tweet when you landed in Detroit last night when they brought it up on one of the TV stations this morning. You could see yourself living here. Talk about your love of the city of Detroit, what you've seen, the changes since you've been coming here.
Yeah, man, I've just always had a great time. So that's kind of my baseline, is I have never not had a good experience here in Detroit to start with. And, I'm originally from the Bay Area. I live out in Boulder now. I spend a lot of time down in L.A., through Austin. Even Indianapolis has a really cool, up-and-coming tech scene, food scene, all that kind of stuff. So I'm always interested. We travel so much, we go to different places. Always interested in checking out kind of what's new and interesting that's going on. And you just see so much being built up here, and lots of young people kind of pioneering or spearheading that movement. And so it's just there's an energy that exists here in Detroit that. Not just because we're here, not just because of the automotive stuff, but just in terms of what the city's doing. That's really cool, and you see a lot of interesting places and little spots that are kind of popping up here and there. It's fun to be able to kind of bounce around and check it all out.
So when you're back here driving the number 21 Chevrolet on race weekend on Belle Isle, how tough is it going to be back-to-back days at the Duel in Detroit?
Dude, I think from a physical perspective, it is the most demanding little stretch that we've got. We're coming off of the Indianapolis 500, which is, a long and kind of drawn out mental and psychological drain. You know, whether you have a great race or not, you know, you're always like that. In those next couple of days, you're pretty worked. So coming off of that, rolling into here at Belle Isle, getting prepped just for coming here kind of is like the first part of the equation, and then back-to-back full-distance races on Saturday and Sunday on what is one of the most difficult places physically that we race at. Just to start with, I mean, it is a serious task. So we're looking forward to it. That's a big part of, I think, what has begun to separate IndyCar from other racing over the last few years is just how intense the competition is among the whole field from top to bottom. Like, there's nobody that's guaranteed they're going to be, you know, outside the top 20, you know, kind of guys. So you got to be on your game everywhere you go, and the physicality of the cars is just off the charts. So that's what we do all of our off-season training for now, you know, is for events like this in a couple of months, and you know, we certainly anticipate being prepped when we show up.
So what do you think of our cutout here? What do you think about this?
I think it's pretty sweet. I'm really surprised that you didn't have me just do the interview through the cutoff.
Well, now that you mention this, it is live. We're live. Come on back. Let's see what you see. See if you can tell us that you're going to see us on Belle Isle on June 2nd through the 4th. No pressure.
There's even a chair back here.
You make it comfortable for you.
I think I gotta go with the backwards
yeah.
hat.
Looks good.
How are we doing? Does this look awesome? Are we taking pictures of this right now?
When's the next time you're coming back to Detroit?
We will be coming back for free pre-day on June 2nd, right after the Indianapolis 500, Friday, June 2nd, and be ready to rock and roll over the course of that weekend, man.
Look into the camera and say, see you on Belle Isle.
See you out in Belle Isle, folks.
J.R. Hildebrand. Awesome.